So we'll get started here. I think this is what, I think as you all know, this is what we're going to be presenting 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central on Thursday at the Terry's branch. And then we have multiple sessions scheduled for the morning of October 4th with all the Shendel branches and then the 2 Ohio branches. And so, you know, as I was just mentioning to Mike, we'll present this all now to the degree that others want to present, whether it be the branch manager or Mike or others. You know, we're open to whatever you guys think is best. And if there's anything missing or if there's anything that doesn't need to be here, please let us know because we want to make sure we use the time as efficiently as possible. So I'll go ahead and get going, unless anybody's got anything else as far as an intro. All right, so we're going to start off by talking about the name. We're going to be calling this Fresh Effects. It's going to be a whole line of hygiene services, and that's going to be the logo, and that's the name. So, you know, hopefully that's exciting to folks. It's going to be a 5-month initial rollout of new odor control products. We're ordering from Vectair to replicate the success enjoyed by Terminix Canada, and we're going to refer to the success of Terminix Canada throughout. There's going to be 5 Shendel branches, 3 Terminix commercial branches, all in Ohio, participating in the initial rollout. We're not calling this a pilot, we're calling it an initial rollout so that everyone is looking at this from the perspective of the beginning of many stages of rollout rather than we may not do this. So we're going to be offering air fresheners, urinal screens, and feminine hygiene bins, and we'll walk through the products here in a second. So what we're going to go through is the products and sales tools, the sales and operations process, and then how we're going to measure this and compensate folks. And with that, I'll kick it over to Josh to walk through the product and sales tools.
Sure. So on the next slide, you can see the overview of the Fresh Effects product line. It looks like 4, but we really have 7 total products because the Fresh Air Solid has 2 versions, the Solid and the Solid Plus. Same thing with the urinal screen. So there's a urinal screen and a urinal screen plus. And then the FemCare bin also has an associated liner. But those are the product sections, and we'll get into greater detail on all of them in this section.
Hey, wait a second, Josh.
Sure.
So I know we will sell but not service this product. Is that what we agreed to for the Terminix branches as well?
Yeah, that's what Melissa said on that call we had with her. So last week.
Apparently with legal concern?
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. We've got a lot of plates spinning. So Mike does bring up a good point. So what we mean by that is if someone sells one of the FemCare bins, there's an email address that we'll share later to email Vectair to do a drop ship on that product. But because of some legal concerns with disposing of the liners that had been used, Terminix Commercial wanted to stay away from offering the service on this product. You take me to the next slide, Mark.
You got it.
So in general, we wanted to share some simple messaging for the product, some feature, benefit, and advantage-based messaging. The Fresh Effects products are environmentally safe and come in a variety of scents. Some are even formulated to attack bacteria and keep your plumbing clean. Terminix Commercial can simplify pest and odor control with service delivered by the same well-trained technician you know and trust. And the fragrances in our products work together, creating pleasant experiences and preventing fragrance fatigue to leave a positive, lasting impression with your customers, employees, and visitors. We just made a note below on this to just kind of get the people who are going to be facing customers with these products thinking about the idea that scent can evoke positive memories and influence behavior. There's all sorts of scientific literature on it. To be fair, a lot of it's not totally conclusive. But it's since been known to improve mood and positive association with an experience or even influence behavior in some cases. Next slide.
Are you seeing Fresh Air Solid?
I do now.
Okay.
So the
Bit of a
Fresh Air
lag.
Solid and Fresh Air Solid Plus, the Fresh Air Solid is expected to be the top selling product. Our friends in Canada are having great success with the Fresh Air Solid product. This is an odor control product. It is not an aerosol, it's a solid that lives in a ceramic housing. And what's really interesting about this product is it changes over time. So with a standard air freshener, you've probably recognized this in your own life. If you have the same scent over time, it starts to just disappear. You don't notice the scent anymore. That's what we call fragrance fatigue. With the phasing of this product, it changes subtly over time to keep you interested. And this product will cover about 6,000 cubic feet per. And we expect customers to want to use this both in the restroom and in other areas in their facility. So could be hallways, could be large cubicle farms, or something of the like. The Fresh Air Solid Plus is everything in the Fresh Air Solid and a little bit more. So it has an electronic fan that distributes the smell evenly over up to 17,000 cubic feet. And a heating element that amplifies the fragrance, so it kind of melts the solid insert that goes in there, and it's sort of an effectiveness of scent difference between a lit and an unlit candle. The recommended installation height on both of these products is 6 feet 6 inches, but the guys at Vector have told us about using that Fresh Air Solid Plus in some creative ways, so like under tables, behind furniture, and some other things. So the standard installation is 6 feet 6 inches if you're going to put it like on a bathroom wall or on a hallway wall, but you can use it in other spaces if you need to.
Hey, Josh, I think it's important to, on this one, the Solid Plus, to note that it has to be within what, a foot of electrical outlet?
Oh, that's a good point. I can change that now. Okay. Good point, Mike. Thank you. The urinal screen and the urinal screen plus. The urinal screen is an odor control product that fits almost every urinal known to man, and it just goes in there and protects splashback and also emits a pleasant aroma to help the bathroom smell nice rather than whatever pops into your head when I say it smells like a men's bathroom. What's interesting about the Urinal Screen Plus is it has kind of a dual action fragrance, so similar to the phasing of the Fresh Air Solid, but it also has a naturally occurring bacteria that degrades organic matter and helps keep plumbing healthy. So it helps keep plumbing from deteriorating and corroding because it eliminates the organic matter that can cause trouble in there. The Air Loop is an air freshener product that is generally associated with being clipped on the side of the toilet bowl. So if you imagine the aroma control that the urinal screens deliver, the Air Loop does that on the commode. But it can also be used in any number of settings. It's small, about the size of half of your fist and pretty thin. It can be used on a desk, in a locker, near a garbage can, or basically anywhere you can think that you would want to put a pleasant smell. The rubber products that we're introducing are all fully recyclable as well. Last but not least is our FemCare bin and the associated bags or liners. The FemCare bin disposes of female sanitary waste easily, safely, and responsibly. It does a lot of really interesting things with the design, including having a revolving modesty flap that essentially ensures the waste is completely hidden. And when you combine that with the liners, the odor eliminating technology in the liners, it essentially eliminates anyone from seeing the waste or smelling the waste as long as it's in there. It makes it really easy to keep the waste hidden and dispose of it. I'll mention this again. We are only servicing We are only offering this product retail. We're not servicing this product. And to be clear, we are not offering any other type of janitorial or janitorial adjacent services like trash removal or cleaning. If customers ask, we're just selling this product. We're not doing any other trash disposal.
Hey, Josh, real quick, why would we have the branch email and have them drop shipped instead of just having them in the branch and let them drop them off? It just seems like an unnecessary step.
So,
Unless like Terry, I don't know what you think. What makes the most sense?
Yeah, just our thinking on this, Mike, was that they wouldn't want to carry it on their trucks, and so it would save some space on the trucks. But that was certainly glad to pivot if we need to.
Terry Hughes, what do you think about that? I mean, would you want who would come back and place that order, send the email order, and make sure it gets delivered and everything? It just seems like it would cause a lot of work on the back end instead of you guys just having them there in the branches.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably be either Jennifer and Ali in the front office that would be doing that. There'd probably be a coordination through the tech or the sales rep through them, and then they would coordinate the order.
But do you prefer to do it that way, or would you rather just deliver them yourself?
We could probably. The only thing I would see in delivering them ourselves would be some of the geographics, because our territory goes out about 2 hours from where the branch is physically located. So if someone out in the fringes would want a product, that could tie up literally half a day in travel time.
Gotcha.
If it's an in-town delivery, I don't think there'd be any issues.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
All right.
Terry, sounds like you prefer drop ship if we had to choose between the two, or am I putting words in your mouth?
Yeah, I mean, if we have stock where we had the option, I think that would be the best of both worlds. Where if we have it in stock and it's a convenient delivery or drop off for us, we could do it and then use the drop ship in situations, where it just wouldn't make business sense to do a delivery.
Okay.
okay, we can make a note there.
We're finalizing our order. We'll make sure we add a few bins and bags to that initial order then. So Josh, if you want to keep us going.
Sure. Sorry, I was just making a quick note. So we'll start by introducing 3 different scents. We kind of wanted to get all the way across the fragrance spectrum. So the citrus mango is a fruity, sweet, and fragrant aroma. It's certainly something you're going to notice immediately when you walk into the room when it's there. It's also the top seller for both Terminix Canada and for Vectair in general. Lavender and geranium is kind of a relaxing floral scent. And you'll split the difference between the two ends of the smell spectrum. This is going to be one that's pretty acceptable to everyone. And then Linen Breeze, if you've ever smelled Febreze, we probably shouldn't say that out loud in the real world, but it's basically that. It's familiar and subtle, and it's not going to be overpowering. Other scent options are going to be made available in the spring, and they can be ordered by request now, but we don't necessarily want to encourage that because it does open up some logistical issues. But if you get in a situation where you have a customer that's excited and on board and they're ready to do it, and they're just like, man, I really hate these 3 scents. Is there anything you can do for me? The answer is yes, and you can email that info@Vectair Systems or request from me the full list of scents that are available.
So I'm just going to jump in here real quick. Terry, when we're presenting this on Thursday, if you wouldn't mind passing around the different scents that you have as samples there, I think that would be helpful. And then I neglected to mention that earlier when we were going through each individual product. If you want to hold up the product that we're talking about while we're going through them on the previous slides, that would be great as well.
Oh, absolutely. Will do.
Thank you.
All right, so this is the most exciting slide. Mike, we need to talk about inventory management. So we had a question come up on a call with Brian about how branch managers are going to track units sold versus what's on the truck versus what's needed. But we don't need to necessarily do that right now.
Well, just a quick question on that for Terry, actually. You guys, we heard that Shendel has a monthly process where they true up inventory and they think through what needs to be reordered on a monthly basis. Do you guys have a similar process where you are?
We do, yes. It's a monthly inventory count, a monthly vehicle inventory count, and then we utilize our current stock, and then we place the order based on that.
So let me ask you a question. Do we need to even talk about inventory management, or does each branch manager, will they just follow their existing procedures and we don't even need to discuss that?
I don't know that would need to be discussed unless there are additional processes that need to be added, to filter this into the system.
Okay.
I mean, if it's a separate like Excel tracking sheet or something, we could, if our current monthly format is agreeable, then we could just add this to what we're inventorying on a monthly basis.
Okay, so I think the idea here is that there's going to be 3 cents for all the products except for the except for the I think pretty much all the products now thinking about it, because FemCare is going to be ordered. So it'll be about 15 to 16 products that you'd be tracking the inventory of because of the 3 cents for each of the products. So we can take this offline. I don't want to derail us too much, but I think it's a separate conversation that we'll probably want to pick your brain on.
Sure, yeah, and I think if you created a template sheet that has all of them on them, like an Excel document or something in that format, where we could just plug and play the numbers, I think that would work just fine.
Okay, perfect. I'll keep it going.
And hey, one more thing I wanted to kind of follow up real quick on this inventory. What are we considering about the free kits? Will those be given to the techs as well, the sales personnel for this rollout? I don't know if we thought that far ahead on this.
Yeah, well, from our perspective, we heard 2 different stories when we were in Topeka and when we were in Columbus. In Topeka, I think we suggested that it was going to be used to get someone off the fence if they're considering it, but they're not quite sure. Whereas in Ohio, I think we were going to cherry pick certain customers, each tech and each sales rep was going to cherry pick which customers they wanted to offer a free trial to and just go straight and offer it straight out of the gate.
Okay. Right. Okay. Right. I'm just trying to imagine if we need to have the free samples to our techs, if they're going to be offering these, or will these just be on the sales side doing that part?
So
I'll talk with Bruce about that, and we'll get that figured out.
Yeah, there's going to be a standard free trial kit, and so it'll really be a question for the Shendel branches of it'll be more of a judgment call, which is sort of an A/B test that we're thinking about doing here. But if it'll make it easier to keep it consistent, we're open to doing that as well.
Hey guys, I would rather keep it consistent for simplicity's sakes for this. We'll roll it out, and we'll roll it out the same. I think we can cherry pick the ones that the same as what the North is doing, what the 3 branches are doing over in Ohio. So I think we just need to keep it consistent.
Okay. Mike, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, we heard 2 different things, so we were just following what we heard. So we'll make it consistent between them.
Yeah, that's going to make life a lot easier.
Yeah. All right, keep moving.
All right, so you've seen the products. Now let's talk about the tools you have to get them sold. You may have noticed that there was a price associated with each of the products on the earlier slide, but one of the things we'll put in your truck or you'll have access to is a 3x5 rate card. This isn't necessarily something you'll ever share with the customer, but this is to remind you the price of the product. So the way these products are priced is this is an all-inclusive monthly fee that will be invoiced monthly, regardless of how frequently you're servicing the product, which will be associated with the cadence of your pest control service. The only thing it doesn't include is a $5 installation fee on the Fresh Air Solid Plus and the Fresh Air Solid. There will be high volume discounts available when you have a customer who is buying a large number of units, and that can be any mix and match number of units you can imagine. So they might get 10 Fresh Air Solids and 14 urinal screens, 20 air loops, and a dozen hygiene bins. Call your branch manager to find out if there's a discount break that you can offer for that amount. But again, this will be a 3x5 card you can keep in your truck or keep in a binder or even a digital copy on an iPad to help remind you how much the products are each.
Hey guys, as a salesman, what is the threshold that you would start discounting? Would it be 5 mix and match, 3, 5 of 1? Mike, what are you thinking?
I'm sorry, what was the question, Bruce?
So when you're talking about high volume discounts, I know one of the question is what's a high volume? Is it 5? Is it a mix and match, or is it 10 of mix and match? Where can we start deviating? And then the other question is, how much can we deviate from that $27, so on and so forth?
I can start on that, Mike. So initially we had a 3-stage discount, and Mark, you might have to jump in and remind me, but I think it was for 5 to 9 products, a 5% discount, 10 to 15 was a 10% discount, and then 15 plus was a 20% discount. But when we presented that to the Terminix guys in Columbus, they thought it just wasn't enough volume to worry about giving discounts. And we haven't revisited that until this moment, Bruce. So it seems like just based on the temperature check we had in Columbus, it would be at least 20 units total before doing a discount.
Okay, that's fair. That's just going to be a question that I know is going to arise, and I just wanted to get a good solid foundation.
Yeah, we can add a talking point, and we also have on our to-do list to talk about what the flexibility and the max discount percentage to offer is.
Yeah, so
Sure.
So Bruce, we can have that conversation now, or we can have it later. I think we were sort of looking for direction as well on what you typically do on the pet side, so that we can sort of match what you're doing with regard to volume and max discount.
You know, we don't discount much on the pest volume whatsoever. It doesn't make sense. We don't discount much on our retail, our fly lights and things that basically we would double what our costs are. And I think that's pretty predominantly on the Terminix side too. So I don't know if we even need to offer that large volume discount. I don't know what our margins are. Are we doubling them? Does it cost us $13 a month or $50 a month? What are our margins when we talk about a Solid Plus?
The margins are pretty high. I actually have that right here so you can see. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
So if you look at column L, you'll see the margins for each of the products. So Bruce, that'll kind of show you that we have a lot.
Yeah, we got some good margins in there. I don't know. 5%, 10% max. I wouldn't go over that at all.
Yeah,
I think we're
for Josh and Mark, I think we need to give some guidelines. Everybody's doing it consistently.
right.
Let's discuss that after the call and try to tighten that up a little bit.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, you can go to the next. Next, you'll have a one-page front and back marketing slick. We have a PDF, obviously, that we can share with you and print on glossy paper, but the front sort of an introduction to the Fresh Effects product line. And on the back, you have specifics with the benefits of each of the individual products. This is one that we would expect you to share with your customers, whether they're getting a free trial or not. This is a sheet you can leave with each and every person that you visit.
Perfect.
We have,
And I know for our fact, I know that we went through you asked if we could cut out some of the logo for the shingle side. Obviously, we'll have something for the shingle side of that, Fresh Effects.
yeah,
And then,
so to be clear,
you
Bruce,
know.
we have a version of all this stuff for Schindel, but I wanted to get it finalized for Terminix in case there's some drastic changes before we do all the versioning. But there's a Schindel version of everything you're looking at kind of in draft process right now.
You know, and I don't know, Mike, and you were talking about, Schindel powered by Terminix commercial. Is that something that maybe we could start encompassing that with rolling that out? I'm just throwing it out, Mike. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we need to get some sign off on that first, and before I don't think we can get that done before we launch this. But that is something we need to get decided probably this year, so we can go into next year doing whatever we decide.
Agree. Thank you.
Hey guys, real quick on the previous slide that was up, the sales slick or the marketing slick.
Mhm.
Is there going to be a separate marketing slip for our CSPs to use? Just referring to it says speak with your Terminix technician at the bottom. And if we're using this for prospecting or if a CSP is using this with, say, a managed or protected account, is this language good, or would we want to?
We can change that to speak to your Terminix representative.
Perfect. Yeah. Terry, I can't see that. Where does it say that on the bottom?
The bold copy on the front page.
Is it on fine print?
Yeah, bottom front.
Under that stainless steel box, Bruce.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, apologies, we had to shrink these down to get them on the slide, so hope you're not looking at this on your iPhone or something.
No, I'm on that.
And I think for training purposes, we'll have the PDFs of all these loaded up so we can bring the larger version up on screen if people want to see in greater detail when we're looking at them.
Yeah. Is this something?
Well, when we roll this out on, I believe Schindel's doing it on the 4th. Am I correct? At 7:30. Maybe we can have that up there because I'm going to have my whole sales team on this GoToMeeting and roll it out at once.
Theoretically, we could have some printed up and ready for you to hand out if you want.
Okay. So when we roll it out this coming Thursday on the slideshow, if we could use the Schindel logo,
Yep.
I think that would go over really well.
Yep. We've got that almost ready.
Yeah, there will be a separate Schindel version of everything you're looking at, so that, it's all rebranded.
Great. I just want to bridge this gap between Schindel and Terminix. We're doing this congruently. We're part of Terminix. I want to start branding that into the culture that we have.
All right, so the cue cards were initially imagined as something that you would keep with you to help you remind yourself of specific product features, but we built them out a little bit further to make them appropriate to share with customers. And in a situation, for example, where you've visited and delivered pest control to an existing customer, and the decision maker, your primary contact's just not there that day, but the person you speak with says, I think they'd really be interested in that VR solid. Can you leave me some information? You could leave them the marketing slick, and it does have some copy on there, and then you can leave them a cue card as well to give them a little bit more detail there. We'll have a sample agreement. We're working with legal to get that ready. So just to show how the agreement will be written up and some of the fine copy that'll go in there. It's just not ready yet. All right, I think the sharpest tool you have in your Fresh Effects toolbox is a free 30-day trial. So we'll offer a 30-day trial to help improve close rates on Fresh Effects products, and it'll include an air loop, a fresh air solid, and a urinal screen plus. It'll include an installation and 1 month of service, which is essentially the installation and coming to add more or pick it up after the trial is over. And we'd encourage you to put these in the location, located as close to, in the restroom closest to the decision maker as you possibly can. The idea being, obviously, you want to put it in front of the person who's going to make the decision on whether or not to convert to a Fresh Effects customer after the free trial. One of the things that our friends in Canada talked about is they don't necessarily wait until the 30 days is up to find out how the free trial is going. They'll check back in a week or two to make sure that the customer who's on a free trial is enjoying the scent and that everything's working the way they expected it to. They said it doesn't happen very often, but they will occasionally change the scent in the middle of a free trial, and they feel like that's helped them convert prospects into actual customers for Fresh Effects. Then we have unit volume discount, and mentioned earlier on the rate card, there's a high volume discount available based on the total number of units. So again, that could be 10 air loops, 5 fresh air solids, and 5 urinal screens to get you to 20 or more units. And your branch manager will have information for you on the percentage discount you can offer your client based on the number of units.
So we'll follow up on this with Mike and
to
adjust
get the
this
specifics.
like whatever we discussed prior to Thursday morning.
Yep. It is important to note that there won't be any intermingling of discounts on the Fresh Effects or pest control products. You could sell 1 billion Fresh Effects products to a customer, and that's not going to change the amount you're charging them for their pest control.
All right, I'm going to walk through a little bit about the sales and operations process. Or is this, Josh, was this me or you? I forget who we said was presenting this.
It's you.
Okay, I thought so. All right, so as we've talked about until now, Terminix Canada has had tremendous success selling this service. It now amounts to about 10% of their total sales. And so because they've been so successful, we asked them, what did you do to become so successful? And they provided some great advice for us. Obviously we need to leverage our existing relationships, the rapport that we have, and don't try to just use a script. So, we're going to certainly rely on our sales skills and talk to our customers. Free trials are key, and they have an 80% close rate on free trials, which is tremendous. Taking a need-based sales approach, so rather than saying this is what we have to offer, ask them if they have some odor issues in their bathroom, ask them, what are some of the issues that they're having with keeping their bathrooms fresh. Restaurants are especially likely to invest because it's part of the experience, and long-term care facilities certainly have great need as well. And then the larger the facility, the more we sell. So obviously we care about every customer and selling this to everyone, but the larger the facilities, the better it'll be financially for both Terminix and from a commission perspective, which we'll talk about here in a second. To the right there, you can see there's a laundry list of different segments that we plan to service or that we plan to pursue, and it's a wide variety. And when we're on the call on Thursday, I'll go through that. So prospecting targets for the rollout. So what we discussed with the branch managers and regional management is for service techs to install at least one free trial per week. And again, these are minimums. We really hope that these are far exceeded, and we'll show you why that's, from a commission perspective, how that'll benefit you here in a second. For CSPs, we talk about 4 free trials per week. You know, obviously, we think this is achievable based on the input we've received from management. And how do we go about doing this? So we think it's a fairly straightforward process. There's 3 different situations. There could be an on-site service where you provide pest service and you qualify the customer by inspecting the site. If you see that nobody is providing this service, you offer the service while you're on site based on the need-based approach that we just talked about. And then once they sign on with a free trial, then you come back and confirm satisfaction and confirm the sale, an ongoing sale after that. Then there's also outbound calls, primarily the sales reps. You would introduce pest service as the primary service, but then also introduce fresh effects in addition as another service offering. And in this situation, you would offer a free trial if they're on the fence. And then for inbound calls, this is, you know, for Shendel, this would be where Sarah West is involved. We would have a branch-by-branch approach for Terminix, Ohio. And you would solve the issue that prompted the call. You'd ask them if they're interested in hearing about another service that we just launched, and then offer the free trial if they showed some interest. Any questions about all that? I know this is a pretty involved slide here.
Bruce or Terry, do you see you guys doing outbound and inbound calls for the Ohio branches, or is that just a Shendel?
I really wouldn't see a big use of it. I mean, we have call blocks for CSPs that are primarily, you know, to set appointments. I don't know that we would get into selling over the phone, you know, during those call block sessions.
Okay.
Mike, for Shendel, it would be Sarah West, and what we might be able to do, I'm just thinking out loud, and I'll get with the branch managers, but have a target list that she could go to and sell over the phone, offering
Right.
maybe the free trial. That's the only way I think it would work. But then again, that's going to come from the branch manager's blessings. If they want to kind of let her be the point on that. But again, I think it should be from the CSPs as well as the techs doing this, especially in those key accounts that we have.
Yeah.
So Josh and Mark, I think we might want to edit this slide a little bit, and it's on site. If we're going to do the calls, that's something that it can be behind the scenes, but the group that's going to see this presentation, they just care about that it's being done on site.
Okay, got it. Yeah, when we were in Topeka, I think the reason we showed this is so that they would know that others could be offering this service via the phone, but maybe we could just make a note of that at the footnote and just focus on that left-hand column. Is that what you suggest? Okay.
Yeah, I think simplify it a little bit.
Okay. So, and service frequency, I'm sure, is hot on everybody's minds. What we discussed is that these products will be serviced in tandem with your pest service visits. So if you have a monthly customer, you would service these products on a monthly basis. If you have a bi-monthly customer, you would service them on a bi-monthly basis. The urinal screen is a 30-day product, while the urinal screen plus lasts 60 days. So we would suggest that the urinal screen plus is primarily, can be offered to both, but that the urinal screen only be offered to monthly customers. Fresh Air Solid can be changed at 30 or 60-day intervals. It doesn't matter. And same thing with Fresh Air Solid Plus. It can be programmed to last either duration. So that's not a big issue. And then the feminine bin and liners, will be sold to customers, but we won't be servicing, as we mentioned. And then the air loop also lasts 60 days, so it could be either 30 or 60 days as well. So, Josh, can you make a note to add air loop to this slide? I noticed that we just didn't include that.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Oh, okay. So really the main takeaway here is that the urinal screen needs to only be offered to monthly customers. We might need to simplify this just a little bit so that's clear.
Hey guys, quick question on the urinal screen and the pricing. If I recall, it's $7 for the urinal screen, $9 for the urinal screen plus. Wouldn't that tend, if the urinal screen plus is a 60-day cycle, that the customer would go for the urinal plus for cost savings?
So these prices that you see here are on a monthly basis. So even if they only service bi-monthly, they're still going to be charged every month.
Gotcha.
So,
okay, thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, the plus is always going to be $2 a month more, regardless of how much it's serviced. Great question, though. We probably need to make that clear as well.
I got a quick follow-up on that. If are we expecting them to change if they're at multiple setups, the dispensaries at this one location? Are we expecting them to replace them all at the same time, or are they based on some places getting more used than others? Or we want to keep it consistent? We replace one, we assume all of them got replaced to charge them to keep the charges consistent.
Yeah, we think consistency will be key here. Otherwise, it'll be confusing to remember which you changed last time. So we're going to change everything by visit rather than changing certain products at certain visits. Okay. So as you can see here, there's a big to-do still when it comes to entering this information into Mission. This is more of a back office issue. We'd probably delete this slide for Thursday morning, but this is more of a reminder for this conversation that we still don't have a clear process on Mission yet.
Well, I think we do need to, there will be templates set up, and I think we talked about taking the sale on a paper contract and then the sales being entered into Mission. And I guess all the Ohio branches have admins that can do that. So I guess we don't need the slide. We can maybe make a note of the process, very high level or something, just to let them know that, because it won't be in SellSmart, so we do need to point that out for the pilot anyway. They should take the sale on the paper contract or paper order form, and we'll enter it into Mission on the back end.
We'll make a note of that. All right, metrics and compensation. So we're going to be measuring as much as possible. We had a conversation with Brian earlier today on measuring all these in PestPack. And once we figure out Mission, the goal will be to measure all of these as well. So we'll, once we're up and running in Mission, we'll figure out how to take all of these KPIs and try to get them into a downloadable report. But you can see here, we're going to be tracking prospects. So how many we saw, how many offers we made, the offers by branch and rep, free trial offers made, the number of products sold, products are sold, and which products are offered, and then the proposed price, the revenue, the contract length, and the commission analysis. So, we're certainly going to be tracking quite a bit. This doesn't even include tracking industry and things like that we'd like to do, but we're not 100% sure we'll be able to pull it off. Any concerns about all this? We'll certainly reiterate that Nick and Kelly are going to be very focused on this as well. Okay. So this is big. What is the potential on this? And the commission, rather than going into their current commission structure, we're just going to stipulate that their commission will be structured the same as their existing commission, with all retention and other bonuses in place, but that there will be an additional way to earn incentive compensation, where you basically get an extra 10% of whatever monthly revenue that you sell in $250 increments. So $25 for 250, 50 for 500, and so on, up to 100 for 1,000 of new monthly revenue. In addition to that, the top performing tech and CSP will each receive an additional $100 per month. We wanted to reiterate that the average Terminix Canada technician received an extra 12% bump in their paychecks before bonuses when they offered the service, and one technician even increased his salary by 50%. So there's huge potential here, for successful sales. Any questions, concerns about presenting it in this way?
Just quick question on the additional incentives. Are those going to be throughout the duration of the pilot, or are they going to be monthly?
It's monthly. Maybe we'll make that a little clearer, that this is going to be an every month, and it resets every month. Yeah, we want to keep, and we haven't even mentioned the leaderboards here, so we'll add a mention of the leaderboards to this slide as well.
And just to clarify, the top performing tech in CSP, will it be, or do we decide by branch or just overall the Ohio branches and then within the Schindel branches?
I thought it was by branch, but I could be mistaken. Whatever you guys decide is fine by us.
Yeah, I thought we wanted to create some competition between the branches. We can talk about that after the call.
Okay.
And will we have minimum parameters to earn that?
Well, just the monthly revenue. So of new monthly revenue, they automatically qualify. So the answer, I guess, is no.
I think we need to kind of rethink that a little bit. That we need to have a target for at least the CSPs, that they need to hit a minimum threshold to qualify for that additional. That's just my take. Terry, what do you think?
That's why I raised the question. I think if you don't get a lot of solid performance, then I don't think we'd want to reward someone for not meeting a minimum bar.
So what if we kept the $25 increment ones, but to qualify for the top performing, you have to do at least 500 of new monthly revenue.
Well, I think they were concerned about having anybody on the CSP side qualify for this incentive. It sounded like you guys wanted a floor for the CSPs.
Yeah, I would say probably a floor for both categories. Maybe not the same floor, but a floor
Right.
for both and CSPs.
So we're open to. I think we can either have a conversation with Mike afterwards, or if you guys have a strong opinion, let us know.
Yeah, what would your recommendation be, Bruce and Terry?
I mean, I think the $500 it would be a good floor.
Okay.
For
500 for tech, 250 for CSP?
Or maybe vice versa.
I'm more inclined to say, and here's what I would like to do with my Schindel guys. Hey, you know what? $1,000 is your quota. That's your floor. You're qualified, but I don't know. I think for this maybe 500. But each one of them are going to receive a quota to hit each month.
Whatever you think is going to motivate them based on past experience, we'll defer to whatever you think is going to with them.
And are we going to be clear that we're going to reset the clock to 0 at the first of every month?
Yep.
So, for example, a technician has 490 in monthly revenue as of the last day of the month. He resets or she resets to 0 at the beginning of the next month.
That's right. We were that way. Everybody can, they don't rest on their laurels.
Hey Terry, are you going to track the raw? are you going to track the raw sales on this or the completed sales?
I mean, it would be determined on how the Excel sheet's based, I think, whatever parameters are put in the sheet for tracking.
Mike, what do you think?
I mean, I was thinking just raw sales, just to get them out and get. Because completion, I don't even know if we're going to know when the completions happen. We're just assuming they're happening when they're out there doing their pest service. It's tied to their pest service. So I'm thinking that might be a little harder to track.
Okay.
I mean, so when we say, let's see, raw sales would be when the equipment is actually installed. Would you consider that it's still a raw sale at that point, or is that a completion?
That would be a completed sale once the.
Okay, then we'll say. I'm sorry, we'll say completion. I was thinking it wasn't until after the service. So yeah, we'll say completion then. We will be able to track.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm still trying to figure out where that duck is.
I was wondering what that sound was.
I'm picturing Bruce running around the pond and doing a bird jump while he's taking the salt.
It's all right.
So before we move on, do we want to have Mike, Josh, and me talk about setting the floor, or are you guys good with what we come up with, or do you want to set a floor or quota?
I'm
good with.
This.
I'm good. I agree. I'm with Terry.
I'm sorry. What was the result? I couldn't hear.
I said I'm fine with whatever the consensus is as a solid floor to set.
We'll think through it. I mean, Bruce, it sounded like you were in favor of a quota, and that's fine. We can do whatever we, do you feel like a quota is going to be more?
Well, I think a floor would be fine too. I'm just looking at for the top performing technicians and CSPs, we need to have a floor. I personally am going to give a quota to each of my CSPs to say, you know what, for your additional bonus, this is the floor that you have to, but here you have, I expect $250, $500, whatever, out of each and every one of you. So that's what I would like to do. Now, I'll talk with the branch managers and David Olson as well to see if they want to do this. We have to get this pilot up and going, and they have to have some skin in the game. That's why I want to put that out there.
So I just moved the slide here to show the targets for the rollout. And we had said 3 trials per week for tech and 4 per CSP. Do you want to call this? I mean, we can just make this part of the the commission. But if you want to set a quota based on any of this, maybe that's something you just have a conversation about.
Yes. If they want to offer the 4 free, that's fine. But they better sell 4 of them as well. They're going to have to pick and choose their battles on this one. And I'm going to let each one of them decide which one they want to do.
Okay. Well, we just hit an hour, and that's exactly the last slide. So that's all we had to present.